Welcome back.
Wild Thoughts podcast, Halloween part 2.
Final edition.
Final edition, yes.
Last one.
Halloween, guys. We're moving on to Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Halloween.
Yes, happy holidays, just in general, because now
Have
we
fun
move
trick-or-treating.
into
Thanksgiving
and then Christmas.
Yep.
Halloween's down, so I'm already putting up Christmas things because Thanksgiving's not a big holiday for us. Well, it's not a holiday for us in South Africa or Venezuela, so
when this comes out, we will post on our Instagram feed for you guys to vote on our costumes.
Yes, we did not tell each other our costumes this time. If you watch Vampire Diaries, I was going for Catherine Elena vibes. Amazon, you did not work with me because the stickers are glittery and they keep falling off, and my fangs did not survive me just coming up the stairs. But yeah,
and she got these cute bags for us to drink
and if you
out
know
of.
me, our drinks are going to be on point, and they like to say that I am hostess with the mostest. So of
red blood cells.
We got
these are scary
blood bags.
I am Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls.
Nice.
I should have been Regina or Karen, but that's okay. I'm Gretchen.
It's so difficult.
Simple.
It is difficult thinking like what to do for Halloween.
Yeah.
Because I went to a Halloween party last week, and like just generally, I don't think of scary.
No.
I do unfortunately think like sexy. I'm never ever like dressing sexy for Halloween. Like if you saw me, I was Donkey 2 weeks ago.
I was Fiona.
And I was just like, I love the movie, and like I saw the outfit on Amazon, and I was like,
yours is cute. I like yours.
And then this, I just like, this is all from my closet, and I got like the stickers.
That's from your closet?
Yeah.
This is why I can never. Everything that we film in, I'm pretty much ordering like.
Send it back.
I don't. What was that? Send it back.
Don't cancel us.
Are there tags?
Yeah,
no.
This is from my the plant is itching.
What is that?
These were from my closet. And
you're so creative. I could never.
I just literally like, I feel like vampires are always like florally and like lacy, and I was like, I have this because what I saw on Amazon.
Why
was
do you
the
have
same.
that?
This I bought in Cape Town on a holiday.
Okay, that makes sense. The top.
A
job interview.
I bought the stuff for the murder mystery.
Oh,
I
makes
bought
sense.
the stuff for the murder mystery, and they never wore it. I never ever wore it out. And yeah, I guess if I go to a work event,
how do you go from that to your orange dress last year?
I can't remember specifically what my card said, but it was like lady of the house, but it then had like a retro throw to it. So I felt like these were retro, but then when I saw the orange dress, I was like, the retro orange dress was giving like the girl from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you look cute. I like yours.
I took the tags off. I couldn't return them.
What is that? Not us. We don't do that.
But yeah, we are drinking. Honestly, I've just been like so lazy to leave my house, so we're doing Southern Comfort again.
It's good. This time mine's already halfway gone.
I've got like coffee flavors, but this one is like a raspberry for iced teas, and so yeah, it is good. Tastes like freaking juice. That's why we're gonna get drunk.
It's so good. So today we're going to talk about scary stuff.
I just realized you even put on heels. You're so cute. I'm still like in my socks.
They're supposed to be black. That was the whole costume.
No,
but
it is so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we came upstairs.
My dogs can't be out.
We got a cute video of us coming up the stairs and seeing each other's outfits for the first time. So that was really cute.
Yeah, we'll have to post that for you guys too.
So this is all about Halloween and being freaky and scary. We were asking each other if we have ever experienced something like paranormal. Have you?
I just thought of something, but have I said it on the podcast before?
About what? Say it and I'll tell you.
No, I can't because it'll ruin the story.
Say the story.
No.
When is the story for?
for the scary stuff.
That's right now.
No,
Scared.
you say what? Is there anything else we're gonna talk about before?
No.
Are you sure?
For
The brothers.
Okay, we'll start with that first. So obviously, Netflix right now has just dropped the documentary and the court case of the Menendez brothers. I always say Menendez brothers. Have you ever followed like their
No,
story?
no. I
You know
know.
anything about it?
Okay, so this is what I know. Basically, that their dad. I don't know if it was their dad and the mom, but one of their parents would. I hope this doesn't get flagged on YouTube. I'm gonna try to say things that
Use like keywords.
they basically were not
SA.
clothed,
SA.
and pictures were being taken of them not with materials on their body. Yes, they were SA'd, and based just a terrible life, and basically that
Mm-hmm.
their parents.
Unalived.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
And they're basically like in prison, right?
Yeah, they are serving life sentences. I think they were tried twice. Well, I'm just started watching it on Netflix, but yes, they were SA'd by their dad, and their mom was aware of it because they had vocalized it. But then the mom kind of acted nonchalant, like she would say like stop making up stories.
How do
But like
you like
yeah, the
even
show
do
is
that to your child?
portraying that the mom was like emotionally invested in the dad.
Is
So
it
if they
scary?
were right now, I'm only on like episode 3, but it's not scary. It's just it's very sad, but it's also
Oh,
it is because they are this rich family.
who
It
are they?
they
Who are they supposed to be?
I
I've
don't
never
know,
even
but
heard
their
of
dad
them.
was really rich, and by the obviously the
Okay.
time that they had money, it was like Beverly Hills back in the
Hmm.
day, and this, and they were good looking. So like they
I've
started to
seen
trend
TikToks
because they
of
are good
whoever
looking. Like
plays them. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, they're so hot."
yeah, and basically it's come the I'm at the part where it's like they did it for the money and they were old enough. Why did they never leave? Blah blah blah. Houston is really enjoying my drink. And it does play like it's really difficult to sit and say like is this something that their lawyer just told them to say, because like why did you endure so many years of it and not like pack up and leave? But I think like when
How
something
old were they
18 and 21,
when it happened?
well it started when they were kids and then they got trialed when they were that
And
age.
they're in prison because they unalived their parents.
Yes.
What's
And
your take on it? What do you think?
I think like an SA assault is something that you could never overlook. Like if it is sick, if like their attorney said like this is the route we're gonna take with it, there is parts of me that I sit and I say like, well, they were adults. Why didn't they walk away? And then there is the aspect of well, they didn't walk away because then they would lose everything. So
Yeah.
did you stay for the money? Did you think it was okay?
Yeah.
But I do think that if it did happen, I think
Do
that
you think they
unless
deserve to
you've
be in prison?
experienced something like that, you can't ever say, why didn't they leave? It's the same as being in a toxic relationship where you say, like, you
Yeah.
listen to your
You have
friend's
to grow
story
up.
100 times and you say to yourself, well, why didn't you leave? If you're
Yeah.
getting beat up, if you're this, if you're this, sometimes like it's so traumatic that you can't speak about it and you don't want to speak about it. And you do love people so much that you want to hope that they change and they stop doing what they're doing. And you make yourself believe that somebody's doing all these things to you because they have a problem and you
Yeah.
want to help them through the problem. So it is tough because of course like in the world of Hollywood and they were brought up and raised like in Beverly Hills with all this money, like do you try to get out of being
Yeah.
a papa and just you go with that story, or and I just sit back and I say like if it did happen to them, I do lean on that it could have happened to them, because you hear of these stories where most of the time like the people who do these things or who are you know going through stuff is
Yeah.
because it's close family or friends, like you
Yeah.
just never know. And their whole story is about like how they didn't even want to speak about it because they didn't want to shame their father's name.
Yeah.
So it's just so sad, like after all that happens, that they still have so much love for their parent
I
to
haven't watched
think
it
of
yet.
that. But
Do you think they deserve to be in prison right now?
if they were SA'd,
Do you think when did they unalive their parents? What age?
18 and 21, I do think that nobody deserves to die. There is parts of me that I watch, and as a
If you were
mom,
the
I
judge
get
right now,
so angry
what
where
would you
I'm
say?
like, I wish they didn't kill their
Yeah.
parents.
So we could figure out what happened.
Yeah, maybe I should. I wish they didn't unalive their parents.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if the father was doing that, like he
Yeah.
should spend the rest of his life
Yes,
like
they deserve
suffering.
to suffer.
But I guess like through all that pain, this was their way of like
They probably felt like that was the only way to escape.
to escape. Yeah. And they say it. They say that there was no way of doing it without their mom like being a part of it
Yeah.
or being a witness or
So
being
both
whatever.
of their parents were.
Yes, they were watching TV one day and then they just walked in and like whatever. And I think the eldest brother, he stayed and he like finished his rounds and they were shocked. They were like pa pa pa. Like 12 to 17 times.
I
Like
probably
it
just want to
was
make sure that they were gone.
anger. Yeah, the first episode is really crazy because they show you like vividly the
See, I don't know if I can watch.
It's okay. It's not
Okay.
gruesome or it's not
So,
bad.
do you know who Brianna Chicken Fry is on TikTok? I don't know.
Is that her last name?
I don't know if that's just what she goes on TikTok. I haven't looked into it to see if that's. I don't think so. She's dating Zach Bryan, the country singer. She is getting wrecked right now on social media because she says that no matter what, those boys deserve to be in prison. And everyone's like, "You're insane! Like, do you not understand what they went through?" But she, and on her podcast, it's posted like she says they deserve it. Which I don't
I do think
know.
nobody deserves
Maybe not. Okay,
to
so
die.
how long are they in prison for? Like, how long were they
They
sentenced?
serving life.
See, I don't think that. I feel like yes, you should serve time for your parents.
But I
I
think
don't
it's
think
because
that
there's
long.
no proof to show that they were SA'd.
I thought there was like pictures and videos and stuff. There's
Well, I
no
haven't
like
gotten to that part. Maybe there
No, I don't
is.
know. I haven't watched
No,
it.
no, I don't think so.
There's no documentation anywhere. It's just like he said, she said.
He spoke to his therapist about it. I don't even know if he told the therapist about the SA'd.
I have no idea. This is what I've just seen off of TikTok, but I personally think maybe just a couple of years, maybe 5 years. I don't think life.
I don't
I
know.
think if this is like true.
But then would you say that for somebody else that has somebody?
I don't know. I just feel like if I don't know.
I think if you decide to commit a crime,
I think it depends on what was being done behind the doors. Like
I do think that if you decide
if you're
to
torturing your
commit a crime,
children,
unfortunately, like you have to deal with the consequences, just like anything in life.
maybe not life. That's what
It
I'm saying. Just maybe
is-
not your whole
yeah.
life.
And I
'cause
think I don't know if they reopened the case again
I think they
like,
did.
right now, right?
Yeah, I think
Is that
so.
why it's
Yeah,
trending?
I think so.
Yeah. Well, now
Because they're like, well, what the hell?
Being SA'd compared to back in the day, I would say it's taken more seriously now.
When did
compared
this
to back in the
happen?
day. Oh, girl, like 30 years ago. I want to say he's
See,
like 55 now.
and back then there's no cameras, there's no videos, there's no. I'm sure there's computers, but I don't know if people
would they
are.
not say anything? Why wouldn't they leave?
Because people back then don't give a shit. You know, like my grandparents and I've had a couple of people older, like my mom's age, not my mom herself, but people around her age. They don't give a shit about mental health. They don't give a shit about how you feel. Like it wasn't a big thing back then.
Yeah.
And now it is. Now it's.
So maybe they might be released now because there's more
to the story.
There's more law
Yeah.
to being SA'd and having mental health issues
and people like realize that can really mess you up.
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
I want to watch it now. I'll have to
I've
watch
always known about their story. I've just like now that it's on like Netflix as a documentary.
I'm gonna have to watch like Princess Diaries before bed or something so I don't get nightmares.
No, it's not scary. It's sad. It's very, very sad. As a parent as well watching it, it is.
I'm sorry, but if you do anything like that to your children, you deserve to go to hell.
I'm angry at the fact that they unalived the dad because I feel like he deserved to suffer
They say the ones that go to
so
prison and they
badly.
find out if it's
Yeah.
children related, you literally don't make it to
Yeah.
the end of your sentence because they're
Yeah.
in prison.
Yeah.
They say
And
those
just
ones
as a
get the
mom, like,
worst.
you know that's happening to your kids, but again, like, you really never know what happens behind closed doors, unfortunately. Like, we don't know what the dad could have been doing to the mom as
It makes me
well.
so sick. I just don't know how
Just
people have
advocate,
kids
like,
and
advocate for your kids. Like,
I just don't know how people have kids
you
and
are the
think
person
that
that's
they
supposed
deserve
to
that.
protect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their own home, they felt
But the dad, like, it
violated.
does say, like, the dad used to threaten them, saying, like, what am I gonna do to you if you tell anybody? And then, like, the one episode, the boy says, like, oh, you're gonna punish me, and he's like, no. And then he says, no, you're gonna kill me, and he's like, yes.
Oh
So
my
he literally, like,
gosh.
used to,
So
yeah.
how are they making a Netflix show about it if they don't really know? If there's no like documentation.
Well, they're going from what was said in court. They're taking everything that what was said in court, because that was, I think that's the first court case that was ever recorded. I think
That's
that's what they're saying it.
crazy.
But yeah,
That's crazy.
not really a Halloween story, but it does give chills.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you have any stories based on like paranormal activities?
I wouldn't say paranormal. I don't like to talk about that stuff because I feel like if you talk about it, you're opening up like
A
a
door, yeah,
realm
yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
to the
welcoming
spirit
them.
world, yeah.
I believe in spirits. I wouldn't say like creepy ghosts. I
Mm,
believe in like angels protecting you and watching over you. I don't know. I just people. I mean, I'm never gonna look at somebody and say that they're lying if they say that there's a paranormal experience because I do believe that there is stuff that happens, but I
mm,
think it's just who is dealing with it. Like I've never
yeah.
personally had. I've had like a ghost story, I guess you could say.
Mm.
I don't know if it's
I don't
like
think I've ever had ghost stories, but I'm the same. Like, I believe in spirits. I do believe that they shouldn't be like tampered
messed
with,
with. Yeah,
because you do open
you're like
the
inviting them
the
in.
door to the spirit world, and then like the confusion between what is real and what is not real does exist. I don't believe like in ghosts, like
Yeah,
whatever. I do think there are some gifted people that can see ghosts.
yeah.
I have a cousin. He's never admitted it, but I think he can see ghosts. He never
Oh
goes into hospitals. He'll never
no,
go to any of our family members' funerals. My
no.
grandmother, who was very close with him as well, he stood outside the church and he stood far away at the graveyard. And I think that most people that do have that gift
Yeah.
don't talk about it, because, again, like, oh, you are, some people call you crazy, but also, again, he doesn't want to admit that he can see ghosts.
It like
Do you know what I
freaks me
mean?
out. Yeah.
I also worked with a colleague whose family, I actually reached out to him to see if he would be on our podcast, but he's traveling at the moment. And his family is like, they are medians.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna ask, do you believe them?
there's some stories where I sat and I've listened to what he said, and he stopped doing it.
Yeah.
He says they learned from their grandma, but he stopped doing it because he said, like, it does get to a dark place, and you can see certain things, and then also you have to understand that when you channel a spirit, you're channeling all the spirits. So somebody who you're talking to, you might get the answers, but it might not be the person that you are actually wanting the answers from.
I've never. I just watched a medium,
Median,
median,
median. I think it's
median on
median.
TikTok last week about the rug story girl. She had one come on her TikTok, and they did a live together. I think he was full of bullshit.
I think that there's
He
a
looked like
lot
he
of
was repeating the shit that
people.
was saying on TikTok. Like everything he was saying, people have already
There we go.
speculated.
I feel like a lot of people, when you go to them, like, ask you personal questions and
They
then
dig too
Google
much.
you, and then,
Yes.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Like, you have to go with
psychics.
like an alter ego and be like, this is who I
Yeah.
am, and actually it's not who you are, and see
Exactly.
if they say what
Like
is being
he
said.
brought up her grandma passing, her dog passing. How do you know that? It's on her TikTok. She talked about it recently. Like he said nothing
You can like
new.
feed into it.
Yeah.
I've never had anything happen to me specifically. I do feel,
Has your mom,
no,
Francis?
I do feel like when I can sense
Yeah.
a different energy in the room. Like, you know, when you walk in
Ew.
somewhere and you get like goosebumps. I've had experiences like that, and I just take myself out of the situation. The only paranormal activity I have experienced and still experience, and I don't even know if it's classified as a paranormal activity.
She's
Sydney's
freaking me
going
out.
in.
You're freaking
Um,
me out, Jamie.
is I suffer from, I don't know if it's like I should say
Stop the sleep
suffer.
stuff.
I suffer from really bad sleep paralysis. And
Keep
when I
that
say
bad
like
juju over
really
there.
bad, like I haven't had it in a very long
That's
time,
the shit where you
but
see people in your room.
there was a period of time where I would have it every single night. I would wake up out of it,
Mm-mm.
go back to sleep into it.
Mm-mm.
It was really bad that I feared sleeping, and I would always have the TV on, always have a light on.
I would never
Hated
sleep
sleeping
again.
alone. And imagine my previous job, I was a flight attendant sleeping in all these hotels by myself. The worst experience that I ever like sat and did research on it, I would say was I was about 17 years old. It was during school holidays and I was alone at home.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ooh, I was home alone with mine too.
I was working. So my
Okay.
alarm was set to like wake me up and I was gonna go to work by myself, and so be it. I woke up as normal. My alarm was going off, and
You're making me so nervous.
I was in my parents' bed,
Oh my gosh.
because like I would wake up and then move to their bedroom because I was like alone at home and I didn't want to be at the back of the house, and then I would go back to sleep. And then I woke up and we had like this specific wooden floors, and my
Mm-hmm.
mom has the slippers that she drags on the floor. So
Oh
I,
hell
in my
no.
sleep, heard my mom's footsteps. But at the same time, in my parents' bed, I was facing a sliding door that faces our outside and pool area, and we had a wash line there. My mom has this furry red gown, and I could see the gown and her
Was it
figure
moving?
hanging washing. So I was like, oh, like, why is my mom home? Like, why is she doing washing? But when I tried to move, every inch of my body
You couldn't.
pained. Like when you try and move, like your muscles literally, it's like a spasm feeling. And I couldn't move. And then when I tried to
Nope.
shout out loud, it literally was like,
Yeah.
and I just felt something so heavy, like on my chest. And I like reached my hands out to like get it off me. And it was just
You
fur.
wanted to touch
It
it?
was
Fur.
fur.
It wasn't me.
It was fur. And the one thing that I remember, like my dad always like reminding us,
No.
like if you ever feel like you do see a spirit, my dad always said to us, do not ever ask to see its like being or face. Because once you see it, like
You
that's
can't
it.
unsee it.
So literally, as the Christian that I am, I close my eyes really tight and I just start praying, and I'm like, I literally till today when it does happen to me, I'm like, get out of here, Satan. And I'm praying and I'm like, fuck off, leave
Yeah,
me
I
alone.
rebuke you.
Yeah, literally. But as I got older and I had to learn to deal with it, because it started being like an every night thing, and then it moved to every second night and then every week and so forth.
No.
I had to learn, like obviously there's the spiritual meaning
Mhm.
behind it, where they say like when you are like a believer,
Yeah.
it's like the spirit's world of testing your faith.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to come
Yeah.
and visit you to make you question,
Yeah.
why is this scary thing happening? So it's like on the cusp of, you are a believer, but let me pull you
Yeah.
back.
Are you accepting Jesus, or are you still like?
Yeah. And then there's obviously
We
like
accept Jesus
the
over here.
mental and the physical balance of it, that says like you shouldn't sleep on your side, or you shouldn't sleep on your back, or
Yeah.
your body is awake but your brain is sleeping.
Mhm.
So there's like ways to wake yourself out of it.
Mhm.
Now as an adult, like I've tried all these techniques, and the best technique obviously for me is like I still would be praying like in my
Yeah.
mind, because your mind is awake.
Yeah.
But like I tell my body to like start waking up. So
Yeah.
like I move my toes, like I tell my brain to move my toes, to move
Yeah.
my legs, to move my this, to wake me up faster. And that like wakes me up out of it. But it's definitely like, I wish that it's something that Haley never experiences, because it
Yeah.
is so scary, because it's real life things happening that you're really not awake with. And it's funny because I always related to the movie Insidious, where the little boy goes into like, you're half awake in the real world,
Mhm.
but you've entered the spirit world. So
Mhm.
like your brain is awake and your
No.
body's not.
No.
And actually, like the scary thing is when Haley turned one, for every night for about 3 months, she had what is called night terrors.
No.
I think I
No.
told you about this, and like I think
No.
I cried. Was it to you? Like I was on the phone
Oh
and I was like
no.
crying, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I Because the thing is, like, you can't, if you've never experienced night terrors in your kid, it's when they are fully asleep, but they are so awake. Their
Yeah.
eyes are awake, they are walking, they are
Mm-mm.
doing everything, and they literally are experiencing a nightmare, and they are shouting. Like she would shout, Mama, Mama. Rancis was not allowed near her. Like if he went with his like deep voice, or like went to soothe her, she would absolutely like freak out. And she would just lay there for like 2 hours
No.
at a time, like screaming, crying. Nothing works. You can't put on like favorite show. You can't wake
Yeah.
them.
No.
She doesn't wake up. So I literally felt like,
There's no
did
way.
I pass on like something genetically
You've messed her up.
to her? Um, she hasn't had it ever since, but like when she was like between 1 and 1.5, it was so
There's
bad.
no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So that's like my thing. I do say that I think I have really strong like sixth sense.
Yeah.
I call it like my intuition, which I think everybody has intuition, but
Yeah.
for me, I think like mine is like always spot on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I also have gone through like a lot of spiritual awakenings that I've
Mhm.
researched. I also research my dreams, because they
Mhm.
always
Yeah.
relate to like what's happening in my life emotionally and actually like happening. Um, and I have this thing where I just always wake up around 3 a.m. in the morning. And
Oh
they say you
hell
shouldn't
no.
wake
Yeah.
up
Serena's
around 3 a.m. in
loving
the
the
morning.
3 a.m. stuff.
Yeah.
There's no way.
You? Have you had anything?
Mine's nothing like that. But like I said, because I refuse. I've only watched 3 scary movies my whole life. Um, none of them by my choice.
Mm.
My sister made me watch one. My parents. I don't know if I wanted to watch The Ring with them, but they made the TV
Classic.
staticky
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
after. Terrified me. And then the third one, I was in high school and I worked late at Wendy's, and they had the work release people from the jail that would get like on good terms to work there. So I worked 5 to 10 during the week, and there's these jail people there. And my sister made me watch The Lovely Bones, and
Okay,
I
well,
was
I don't think
terrified.
I've seen that.
It's not scary. It's sad. It's really really sad. You should watch it.
I don't like horror movies, but I like
No,
horror movies. Like
I
I
just
like
refuse.
real, based on real stories, just because like the research behind it, I really like it.
Yeah.
But also like I hate watching it, because my mind would like randomly, like I'll be peeing one day and then like
You think that
remember
they're
the
yeah
kid's name and be
yeah
like, why the hell am I thinking
yeah.
of
And it's
Timothy
like
that got
dark or
killed?
something.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So my story is nothing like that, but it's I I do believe it was a ghost of some sort. I don't think it was paranormal. I don't know. I don't read into that stuff. I refuse. It scares me. I'm a
Mm.
big baby. But there was this one night, this house that we were in. I'll follow it up with another story because it kind of makes sense. But I think I just had Savannah, or I don't know if she was born yet, but I definitely had my younger siblings home. I think it was Carson. He was the only one that was home with me. There was one other child with me, and then possibly Savannah. And my parents left for the night. We lived in a townhouse, Indiana. It was right off the highway. Cute town. But they left, and we were moving. I think we were moving like the next like couple days, and they had an event at school, and we only had one cat and a couple dogs, and we were all upstairs, and it was like late. It was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I hear this like crash, like a box, because we had boxes stacked downstairs because we were literally moving in a couple of days, and
Yeah.
the box like fell, and I'm like, no, hell no.
I'm
I
not going to change.
texted my dad and I said, or my mom or my dad, and I said, someone's downstairs. Something's happening because the cat was upstairs.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking maybe the cat jumped off. No, the cat was upstairs. The dogs were upstairs, and my little brother's a baby.
Yeah.
No. And I was like, I hear something. A box fell. Basically, long story short, it it was terrifying. A box crashing and no one's home. That's not. There's
Yeah, it doesn't normally happen.
no. And so they came home. I grabbed. I can't remember if Savannah was with me. I grabbed my little brother and we went to the car. I sat outside. I said, "Fuck no! Like I'm getting out of this fucking house." And they came home and he got his gun or his he got his thing and went inside just to make sure because I'm like I wasn't faking it. I wasn't lying. I wasn't paranoid. Like there was a crash. Something was down there.
Yeah.
And there was nothing there. But that same house when I was pregnant, my mom said she used to sit in the living room and we had this like little island I used to sit at and do my homework and stuff. And she said she used to see like things like over me, like creatures like over me. And that was the same house.
About my sleep paralysis.
I don't think that's my mom witnessed it, so I didn't know, and she never told me until like later after we moved out. But it makes sense that the box also like fell, right? Like a big loud crash in the same house.
My
so
my
that's
eldest
mine.
brother, he had growing up an imaginary friend.
Oh hell no!
And my mom, I think she was out one night with friends. She did go and see like a palm reader, and the palm reader like told her like, "Oh, your son, he's very to himself. You know, he doesn't play with the cousins when they come around. He has an imaginary friend, but the friend is not out to hurt him. He's out to guide him in life." And my
so
brother
scary.
never ever spoke about it. He always say, oh, I don't remember, I don't whatever. Until 2 years ago was the first time he opened up and he told me and my brother.
He remembers?
He does remember. And he doesn't remember it vividly, but he does remember like having this friend and how he felt like this friend was like a guardian angel. And he kind of says like the friend was him in the future, like
there's no
guiding
way.
and protecting him and so forth. I want to say like I'm pretty sure he would want to like go to a medium and more about it, but again, like, do you open that door?
No.
You're
just like inviting
my dad
in.
has strongly put that belief in us. He was like, don't ever open the door. Once you open the door,
there's no going back.
Yeah.
They cling to you. Yeah. Okay, now not talking scary. Have you ever felt like you had an angel protect you?
Yes.
Me too.
Okay, so
you go first.
I don't think it's specifically like people that I know, but I do think like I've come across strangers in situations that I do now sit back and be like,
do you have a specific story? I have a specific story.
I believe in an earth angel.
Yeah.
So I strongly, it's so funny because in the last episode I mentioned my best friend that passed. I believe that my best friend was an earth angel.
Yeah.
And I say that because like there's a lot of things that puts me at peace with him and his passing.
Yeah.
And if this is what puts me at peace, like I'm gonna believe it no matter what.
Yeah.
But I believe that earth angels are sent to us to heal us.
From loved ones, do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think they could be a stranger or they could be a big part of your life.
Yeah.
I think that they are sent to us in a period of our time that is needed to heal us.
Yeah.
Or to guide us in a spiritual awakening. So my first spiritual awakening, I would say, came from his passing. And if anybody doesn't know what a spiritual awakening, like for me specifically, I think everybody has their own beliefs, but for me, it's when something traumatic in your life happens, but you step into a new vibration, like a new alignment, and you change as a person. And so much things happened to me after I had like felt like everything bad was happening, and I just let go, and like I let the energy like lead me into where I need to be.
Yeah.
And I think that came from his passing, because I feel like when he passed, like I learned so much about myself
Mhm.
and what I need to change within myself. And I also took the direction of like being rebaptized as an adult, and like
Yeah.
finding my relationship with God my
Yeah.
own way, and just like spiritually like finding like my way of living and
Yeah.
understanding my religion. And I think like my whole outlook on life came from him, because like
Mhm.
I kind of always go back and I'm like, oh, but they'll always saw the positivity in people. And no matter how much shit that he was going through mentally and emotionally, like you would never tell. Like he'd still always be like the purest heart, like
Yeah.
love unconditionally, even if it meant like you get hurt, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I think after his passing, like I went through a year of just like I just felt unhappy, but I
Mhm.
put on a mask.
Mhm.
And then it was, I need to make changes.
Yeah.
Like I need to make changes with the things that I'm doing, partying all the
Yeah.
time. Who am I giving my energy to? Like
Yeah.
all those things. And I think that earth angels, yeah, like I said, like are sent to us in a period of our time,
Yeah.
and they are not always with us forever.
Mhm.
And like he's passing, maybe that's my way of my comfort zone of coming to terms with the way
Yeah.
that he left. But I think like he was an angel sent here to teach certain people certain things, and that was his way of like having to exit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If my angel was, I believe it was somebody. I believe it was. I have so many grandparents that have passed away.
Yeah.
I went to Nashville a couple of years ago and I got into an accident literally 10 minutes from the hotel. It was like a legit accident. My life flashed before my eyes. I rear-ended somebody. Technically, I rear-ended them, but they like came out into my lane very last minute, and I had no choice but to brake, and they braked. It was
Yeah.
my first like real one. Um, and I literally 10 minutes from the hotel. So like as soon as it happened, like I was fine. I was shaken up. I was shaking. Like my head was hurting, but I was fine. I was like, let's have fun. A couple days later, we went to do kayaks and we took my car and I noticed that my gas gauge wasn't moving. I'm like,
Mm.
oh crap. Like I don't have extra money for car money right now. Like I
Yeah.
can't just be stuck in Nashville waiting for a car. So I ignored it until the day of and I'm like, let me just go get gas. Like I'm going home. It's a 12-hour
You told
drive
me this
home.
too.
Yes. I don't know if I said it on the podcast or not.
No,
I
no,
think
you
I
never said it on the
did.
podcast. You told
But
me.
so I realized that my when I would fill my tank up, so it was on E, the lever was on E, and
Yeah.
when I would fill the tank up, it would shut off, like it would just like automatically like go, like it was full,
Yeah.
but the gauge wouldn't move, and there was no mileage, you couldn't see anything, and it was a 12-hour drive home. Sean stayed on the phone with me the entire drive home.
Mm.
I was so scared. I left later in the day, so I didn't get home till like 3 a.m., like 2 a.m. It
Yeah.
was really late. Um, and I was tracking my mileage. So whenever I would put the lever in, it would say it was full. Like I knew in my mind how much miles that I would have to go and I would track it.
Yeah.
I think I stopped like two or three more times and each time it would barely fill up. I'm like, there's no way it's already full. Like I would put like $10 in and the lever would go off.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way. Um, I, I don't know how I made it home. I really don't know how I made it home because the next day I went and got my new car and we literally pulled to the gas station like 2 minutes from the house and it would not take like any gas. I don't know how the hell I got home on a 12-hour drive with
Yeah.
there was no
Like not
and my
not
last
filling the gas.
stretch was like 4 hours and I should have stopped for gas. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was the middle of the night, middle of Texas back roads.
No, I definitely believe in angels and like
Someone
like
helped me get
strangers as
home.
well,
Yeah.
because some I got even goosebumps, because like there's been times like I don't think of it now, but like one trip I'll never forget is that like my first trip to Bangkok, I flew with one girl that joined with me. It was she was Italian, won't mention her name, but we went to Bangkok and we really wanted to like go to a temple. But the
Mhm.
time that we arrived, like all the temples were closed and nothing was close by. And the hotel like specifically told us, there are no temples close by. Like the
Yeah.
only one is like walking distance, but it's not the temples like you want to see.
Yeah.
Anyway, we ended up like at the street that has like all the bars and stuff, and it was still pretty day. And
Yeah.
there was this guy who was doing like tour guides, and
Mhm.
he's like, she started speaking to him, and she said like, I really want to do temples, and he's like, oh, like come with us. It's not far from here. It's just up this way.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay for a temple. Like they literally just said like it's gonna be a waste of time. So we started walking like in the direction that
Mhm.
he told us the temple
Yeah.
is. And as we start walking, we notice like the people and the crowd is getting like less and less and
Oh
less.
no.
And then on the last crowd, like I turn around because I'm like, okay, this is the last
Yeah.
people like that look like tourists, like walking back, and then the street is just like quiet.
Empty.
As I turn around, because I think like the girl and the guy were arguing.
Yeah. What?
From like on the
Oh, I
opposite
was like the
people like
tour guide and
passing
your
us. No,
friend.
no, no. Opposite people like following us. I like turned back because like they had like an English accent or
Yeah.
something, and I saw like the guy like very far back, but like
Yeah.
following us. And I don't know what happened, but literally the girl who was arguing with the guy
Yeah.
like said to me, could you just walk with me because he's
Yeah.
being like an asshole or whatever. And like I took it as a joke because she obviously had like seen me watching them, and I
Yeah.
thought she was being sarcastic. And as I turned and saw him, I felt like that was somebody like saying to me
Watching
like
over
turn
you.
around
Yeah.
and walk back with this group, because once this group leaves and takes a corner, like it's just you and this girl in the street. And like even then, like my intuition was telling me like we shouldn't even just be going here. Like we were told there's no temples.
Did you turn around?
We did turn around.
Yeah.
Like we walked with them. And I'm
That's
so
just like
glad.
you
And as we
knew.
passed the guy literally was like, oh, you're not too far. It's just up here. It's just up here. And I was just like, I said to the girl, because she was still like adamant, like, oh, I want to go. I was like, listen, I'm not going. And I think like being South African and being street smart, like
Yeah.
that was my reminder to be like, just because I've left South Africa and like live in the Middle East and things have been safer, like you just need to always stick to like your gut
Exactly.
feeling and just no.
That's
Yeah.
scary. Because you never know what would have happened.
You don't. You don't. And I'm always like, I strongly believe like we exist on different timelines,
Yeah.
and maybe another timeline of me like would have gone,
Yeah.
and that would have been like my
Yeah. He was waiting. That's
yeah.
really scary.
Yeah, it's
But
not
it's
funny.
nice to
It's not
have.
funny, but
No,
yeah.
but it's like you knew something wasn't right.
And that's not, I wouldn't say that's like the only time that that's ever happened to me. Like there's been times like I would go out clubbing, and like, my mom or somebody like I know would say like, I just don't think you should go out
Yeah.
tonight. And then I do go out and something
Yeah.
does actually happen, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, I freaking knew that I shouldn't go out
Yeah, I
tonight.
should have listened to myself.
Yeah. My grandmother always used to say like, once you're in for the night, you're in. Like
Yeah.
if you
Yes.
know, if you've done your
If you're
night
second
routine
guessing yourself
and you've like parked your car and everything,
Yeah.
and then somebody texts us and says, hey, like let's go out, you're in for the night. There's a reason
Yeah.
why you need to just say no, I'm
Yeah.
not going.
Yeah. I feel like if you're second guessing, that's
Yeah.
your answer. You should just stay home.
Well, we hope you guys have a great Halloween. Tell us your
Yes.
stories. Tell us what has happened to you.
Angel or
yeah,
ghost.
paranormal. We'd love to know, and we can, dive into it after Halloween.
And I hope you guys have a happy Halloween. Have fun trick or treating. Post pictures of your kids and tag us. If you do family costumes.
Yes. Wild thoughts _ podcast.
It's been a long day.
Bye.
Bye, guys.